Hi, welcome to BPM Talks with the beautiful Diana Komugisha. Actually, I should have asked you how do you say your name before.
It's really perfect. Yeah, Diana Komugisha. It's perfect.
Komugisha, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's my Japanese influence. It sounds kind of Japanese, doesn't it? Really?
It kind of sounds really Japanese.
Yeah, it really does.
I think influence in Uganda a little bit with the names, and yeah, it's really kind of Japanese.
Okay, so I got my African Japanese co-host today. No, Ugandan. How are you doing, Mrs. Top Model?
Yes, I'm doing very fine.
Looking very beautiful there, as usual.
You too. You're looking gorgeous too.
It's always, it's the white teeth. It's the white. It's actually the lighting. In reality, I don't look this good. Okay, so you've been a model for how long have you been a model? Actually, that's the question I wanted to ask.
Wow, I actually started modeling in 2009. That was actually my first when I had my first job. And after 2009, I decided to go this career, being a model. And it was kind of hard because I lived in Berlin, and the model industry there is really hard because I'm just 5'1", and with 5'1", you don't have a chance. So after trying for some years, I kind of gave up. But then I moved to Mainz. It's western from Germany actually, and there I could actually start the model career, and it was really nice because the exotic look that I actually have was more asked there. And in Berlin, it was hard because Berlin is the fashion industry, and you don't have any chance if you're not somebody.
Yeah. Well, actually, wow, I don't know. Is that really true that like if you go to Berlin, I think you just have to have like something extra. I think you have the chance in Berlin to make it, or would have had the chance. I think the only problem is obviously competition, and well, I don't know if your height is really an issue. Is height, how big you are, is that really an issue?
It was actually. I think they started the last 3 years. They started to mix it up, but before that, in 2009, I had no chance. Really, because of my height. They didn't say that I'm ugly or something. They always said, "Oh, you look beautiful. If you would be a little bit taller, you got everything for a model." But we're sorry. Yeah.
I think that's discrimination, isn't it? It's like it's not fair to say, okay, you don't make it because you're 5'1".
Yes, it is. When you see it, actually, the model industry, they have designers, and the designers, they make very tall dresses, and if I would wear all those dresses, they would be on the floor. And that was they also have some regulations, and that's why they can't take everybody, but they stopped doing that normal modeling. You have to be very thin, you have to be very tall, because they want people to actually buy products or buy their fashion. And there are not only people out there that are very, very tall or very thin. There are also people with curves. There are people who are black, white, and small. And so that's why they started opening up a little bit more. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I would have signed you up, to be fair. I think you look great. I would have definitely got you in there,
Thank you.
So, okay, 2009. See, to me, 2009 sounds like you was... Sorry, did you want to say something?
No.
Okay, 2009 sounds like it wasn't that far away. It's like, it's actually, what, 12 years ago? And you're not that old, but obviously when you was in 2009, you was younger. So it's like, how's the industry changed since then? Like 2009 and now, because obviously you got all things like Black Lives Matter movements and body shaming, things have changed a lot. So do you think if
Yes,
you would have gone to Berlin now, you would have more chance of making it than back in 2009?
I really do. I mean, when we talk about Germany's Next Top Model, because I applied for Miss Germany, this is something else, but Heidi Klum from Germany's Next Top Model, the last season
Mhm.
was not Germany's Next Top Model, it was about Germany's Next, and she put a logo inside. Normally, there's a top model being like this on the cover in the logo, but she put a star in it, so everybody could apply. They were searching plus size models, small petite models. They were searching everybody, and I missed it this year. It was
Uh-huh.
last year, and I missed it. I was so in my working world that I didn't know that she started actually changing it. And I've watched it every year since, I think, since 14 or 15 years. And
Mhm.
this one year where I haven't watched it, I could have applied. So yeah. I mean, maybe it's destiny telling me, okay, not this time. That's not how I have the way for you for the future. I mean, you never
Yeah.
know.
Actually, I heard that you create your own destiny.
Yes.
And obviously now you got like Instagram, you've got like YouTube, you got all these social media platforms where you, as a model, an attractive a black model as well, can make yourself, you could be your own product and blow up and be famous in another way. You don't have to go through these. Like for before, like when I was a musician, it was always about going to a record label, getting signed, and they would help you, and then you get up. Now you can just go on YouTube and do your own thing. So I think it's the same with modeling.
Absolutely. It's the same thing with modeling. Especially
Mm,
on Instagram, you can be an ambassador for different products, for different firms. And so the world is opening more to normal looking people,
yeah.
not the typical model, classic model. And I really like it because
Mm,
the classic model was produced actually by the fashion industry and
yeah.
not by how the people actually look. And I really like that they open up to so many people, to how people really are, and I like it.
Yeah. Okay. So what was it like for you? Obviously, you're, you know, African heritage. Um, what was it for like for you growing up in Germany in the early years and then knowing you wanted to be a model? Was that like a challenging for you?
Yes, I when I decided to start the model career, actually, I wasn't I didn't want it to be a professional high-end model. I just wanted to be creative and let my creativity out there because I see modeling not as a um, career or job. I see it more as a part of my life because
Mhm,
it helped me, the creative work behind it, working with photographers, with designers, with artists, and so many other people around this industry. This is what I was actually aiming for, or just that creative work. So yes, I grew up in an orphanage because I lost my parents in Uganda. I was
mhm,
originally born in Uganda, and because of political difficulties, my parents died, and yes, me and my sisters and brothers, we had to actually flee from Uganda and immigrated into Berlin to Germany. And yeah, there I grew up in an orphanage of the age from 3 to when I was 18 years old. I could leave the orphanage because I was yes, old enough to live by my own.
mhm.
And yes, I grew up with a lot of other traumatized people. So I knew that there's a word with people who really need help and who actually also were searching something in their life, like a hobby or something that they could feel um, normal, or something like a stress relief. And for
Yeah.
me, it was dancing and modeling actually. So
Okay.
that's, yeah, modeling is always was always part of my life, and dancing too. So that's why I actually wanted to um, to succeed in it. I didn't want it to be the top model and going around the world. I just wanted to do it for me and
Yeah.
to show people out there that everybody's beautiful. You can just go after um your dreams. Don't give
Yeah.
up. So if you also when your life starts up very, very hard or harsh, don't give up. Just go after it and be yourself.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, it's kind of where you are now. It's easy to say that, but I guess it's hard when you're 15, you've lost your parents, to see that future, where you think it's going to be all right. That must be very difficult. Even for you back then, it would have been very difficult.
It
But
is.
then, they got people like you who can show them the way and say, look, this is where I came from. It was so difficult as well. And they can relate to you, and that's why it's important for you to put yourself out there and show people, look, I am here. If you need help, I can help you, and show you that it's possible anyway. Doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really a hard way to become the person who I am because
Mm.
I went to a normal school where not just traumatized people were. There were normal people with normal problems. And then
Yeah.
I went home and I saw the world with the traumatized people. So I actually had those both. And I could see, okay, that's the one word and that is the other word. So what am I
Yeah.
gonna do with my life when I have that those two actual
Comparison.
words, yeah, inspiring or showing me how the word can be. So that actually yes, formed my character, formed who I was. And I was strong enough to make the decision to not to still try to be a role model, to still fight. And I mean, there were a lot of people who couldn't fight because they didn't have that strength that I had, and totally okay and fine. But I used that strength that I had to make something good out of it. And I, yes, I love to empower people or to tell people, hey, stand behind your dreams and make them as sweet as possible and try to reach them as best as you can.
Yes. Great. It's great. Yeah, man, you're doing a good job. Um, so anyway, so a black beauty standard. I'm big on the black beauty standard, and obviously black people carry their natural hair. It looks great today. I must say, it looks beautiful. Yeah,
Thank you.
it would give you stress if you came, look, with like a wig or something. I'd be like, no, that's not it. So you're looking very good today, very natural. What's your view on it? Then, do you think we need a black beauty standard?
I think that a lot of Black people, especially those who grow up in Germany, they don't see a Black beauty standard because
Yeah,
they see the normal European hair, which is
yeah,
straight, which is lighter, which is beautiful because they always see it in the television, they hear it from the radio. So that's why it's hard for Black people who grew up in Germany to actually know what kind of Black standard or what kind of Black hair is beautiful or not. And I I when I was younger, I never thought that my hair is ugly. I just thought it was kind of hard to handle it. So that's why I used to wear braided hair or wigs or but when I grew older, when YouTube came more into that, a black hair is beautiful, you can do this with your black hair, you can do that, it's not that hard, it's just you don't have the products in Germany. That's why it's harder for you to actually handle them. After I saw a lot of YouTube videos, i I started to embrace my natural hair more. And then I also saw how beautiful the hairstyle can be because I
yeah.
finally had somebody telling me, hey, that's how you can look too, and not just the straight and blonde or straight and other color. And I think there shouldn't be a standard, but I think you should actually look more YouTube videos if you're Black and living in Germany and try to get what your hair type is, because we also have a lot of different hair types. I didn't know that before. I thought we just have the mixed hair type and the dark people hair type, but no.
Yeah.
Between the dark people hair type, there's like 4C, 4A, 4B,
Yeah.
and so on. And the same goes for the mixed hair type. And to know all that, just the education,
Yeah.
that it's insane, and it's very beautiful when you actually get to know your hair and you see that your hair is not dry, it's just extremely curled. And
Yeah.
there's a reason why it is like that. Yeah, then you embrace your hair differently, and then you start also to see it differently, and yes, and embrace to love your hair, actually. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm gonna pull it back a little bit because, you know, there is, like, talk about hair types. There is some people, you know, of our brothers and sisters, black people, who have like really hard hair. Like my brother, for example, his hair is like, it's like sandpaper, schleif papier.
Yes.
You can use his head to smooth off wood. I mean, it's all love, he knew that his hair was always a little bit more rough. He couldn't do anything with it, so he just made his hair like short all the time. But I always had nice hair. I don't know, it's genetics, I guess. But I was always able to grow my hair really long. As you see, I'm almost like 40, and my hair's still very long.
Yes.
And that's kind of weird because for a long time I neglected. I didn't grow my hair at all. I used to have short hair for almost 20 years, I guess. And I just decided recently that I was going to grow my hair out, especially to be an influence on my kids. Because I realized with this whole Eurocentric idea that straight hair is beautiful, that was quickly coming to them, especially my oldest daughter. She was like, I want straight hair. I want to look like these guys. And I was like, dude, you're not going to look like these guys because you're mixed. You have a different DNA, genetics. So I said, okay, I'm gonna grow my hair so all my kids see that my hair is cool. And you know what happened a couple of days ago? My son, who's actually got blonde hair, he he says to me, I want my hair like yours, daddy. So I cut his hair now, and he has exactly the same hair as me. So it's working. I'm showing it. It's proving that because I'm being the role model, they're seeing it and thinking, I like his hair. I want to be the same. So this is a proud moment for me.
Yes, that's amazing. That's really nice. I only had my big sister doing my hair, and she was not so educated on it, so she tried to do what she could, and yeah, that's why she braided my hair a lot. She didn't know how to actually grow my hair out without braiding it, and she did a good job. But right nowadays we have the internet and we got YouTube, and we have the chance actually to look online what we can do with our hairs, and I think that's nice. But it's still kind of really hard to find a good hairdresser, an African hairdresser, in smaller cities, because they're not to find so quickly. And when you go into a normal European hairdresser shop, they don't know what to do with your hair. They use a little bit of product that actually could be good for a little bit of your hair, but for white people hair, of course, that little is a lot. They can put it in every corner in their hair, but they can't make just and then try to straighten them. No, they have to actually go into, and it was really funny when I tried to go to some hairdressers. They didn't know what to do with my hair, and also when they cut them, it was hard for them because they're not used to have African people coming in their salon, and yeah.
I can imagine your first appointment at the hairdresser's. Okay, and you saw a picture, make my hair like this.
Yes,
And just like, okay, and she puts a little hairspray in there, and she's like, I don't know, you know, German people are when they're really confused, they're looking like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what.
Yes, but there are also people who are very curious and they would love to do it right. So they ask you, okay, what am I supposed to do? What am I doing wrong? They want to learn, but it's so rare. It's just hard to find a hairdresser if you live in a small town, an African hairdresser.
I mean, they
can actually wash that can actually wash your hair, because you can always find somebody private who can braid it or can do something with it, but not cutting and washing. That's the hard part.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the sad things in Europe. Like even I know in England, one of my ex-girlfriends was a hairdresser, and she was taught. I mean, she had to go to university, but she was taught a little bit about black hair before she stopped studying.
Yeah.
So that's made its way into the curriculum. But in Germany, I can imagine they're still like 30 years behind. So because there's not a very big black population or African population in Germany, that might take some time. But if you're a little bit skilled with hairs and you listen to this and you live somewhere like in America or England or Africa or Jamaica and you're good with hair, you probably come to Germany and make so much money, because I mean, that's what I do. I always hear about my sister. She's so good at hair. And I say, why don't you come to Germany? Come to Germany. I swear, I can promise you riches. You'll be rich. You'll never have to worry again. You can have all your private customers. You'll have so much money. But, you have to have this mindset, and a lot of people don't have it, unfortunately.
Yes, that's
so yeah. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about. So now you made it into the top 100 modeling scene.
No, it's not modeling. It's a beauty pageant.
Oh, to me, that's all the same. Whether you're beautiful, yes. If you're a model, you're beautiful. If you're a beauty pageant, you're beautiful. You're a model. It's all the same to me.
Okay, I got you. No, I can explain it again. It's okay. Yes, I applied by Miss Germany. That's a beauty pageant, but they have a new concept since 3 years, and their concept is about not just the look and not just that you represent Germany. It's about empowerment. They are looking about inner beauties, and they also look if you have a project or something that you want to bring to the world, that what you or changing. If you have a very great idea or great organization or whatever you started because of your story, you can bring that actually out to the people. And I think that kind of concept is really nice. It caught my attention because they were not looking like this, the same with the model industry. They are not looking for the typical classic model anymore. And it's the same thing with the Miss Germany. And I applied there some month ago, and I got the reply that I made it out of over 15,000 applications, I think. I made it into the top 160.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I can't believe it. I'm so speechless, and I'm so happy, and I'm just speechless. I applied there with my life story that I grew up in an orphanage, and also with my non-profit organization, which I created with Calvin James Burpee. He's the other co-founder, and we help actually traumatized people, especially people with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And yes, that's the curve from my life. I grew up with a lot of traumatized people, and now I started a nonprofit organization where I help those kind of people, because I know that there is a lot more help that they need than they actually get out there. Yes.
So what inspired you? I mean, that's great. What inspired you to start post-traumatic stress disorder, an organization? Was it because how do you say, do you suffer from post-traumatic stress or disorder too?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
But yes, but it was everything that I saw was a lot of traumatized people in my orphanage, and all their stories, and living with them for so long. I was the only kid who lived there longer than 2 years. Normally, you live there only 3 months or half a year or whatever, because they go into families, or they can go back to their parents, because the parents they're not addicted to drugs anymore, they're not addicted to something anymore, they worked on themselves. So I was there from the age of 3 to the age of 18. I was there a very long time. So I saw a lot of people, and I lived together with a lot of people that were traumatized all over the world. They came from everywhere, from Africa, from Eritrea, from Eritrea is in Africa. They came from from
Asia.
Arabia, Asia, from everywhere, and that experience just taught me that the help that we had there was okay and nice, and was the it was nice help that we got. But nowadays, people with post-traumatic stress disorder, they need so much more than just only therapy or only a little bit of traumatic yoga, or I mean, there are some programs out there, but the problem is that they don't offer the whole spectrum of programs that is needed actually in order to recover from the post-traumatic stress disorder, or in order to get stabilized enough so that you can actually go to a psychiatrist or psychologist and seek treatment. Because if you are affected by PTSD, you suffer from depression, you suffer from anxiety attacks, you suffer from insomnia, and a lot of more things. And if you just go to a psychologist and talk about the trauma or the traumatic event that actually caused you to have PTSD, and you don't have anything else to go to a group or a program to go to, then it brings you back in this trauma state again. It re-traumatizes you every time you go to the psychologist. So what we do with experience is actually we try to stabilize the people through different kind of programs like art, like music, also therapy, but also the people surrounding the traumatized person, like parents or friends. It's very, very important for them to realize what, or to know what PTSD is, so that they can also be a supporting system surrounded by actually for the traumatized person. And it's also very important to bring the traumatized person into the moment and not let him think about the traumatic event. So that's why that kind of programs that we offer, all those different spectrum of programs we offer, should at least be longer than a year, or at least a year, in order so that the brain starts to reprogram himself to actually know, okay, I can. So because the brain after the traumatic event, it's also it's a brain injury. So the brain is telling you, oh my God, you're still in that traumatic state. So I have to produce chemicals that makes you feel that depression and all of that, and the fight and flight situation. But if the brain learns that it's not necessary anymore to actually
like release the hormones and stuff.
Yes, those hormones actually produce these hormones. And if you give that traumatized person an area where he or she can actually produce nice chemical reaction in the brain, then the brain starts to release the bad and take the good ones. And that's what we actually want to do. But there's so much more science behind it, and I'm not a scientist, so but I work with a lot of scientists together. I work with psychologists and social workers together in order to make that program round.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Just quickly go back. I think I know. I had a couple of people on the podcast a couple of months back. They were in a home too, and I think the whole idea was if you was in the home after 3 or 4, you was almost never going to be adopted. And I guess because you was in Germany too, and you was probably the wrong color or whatever, I guess it
Yeah.
was even harder for anyone to say you would take her. It would be different today. I believe today you'd be the first to go. I think they'll take the black kids or the Chinese kids first. Yeah, take them. But
Yeah.
back then, when you was young, I think they were like, "Oh no, what the neighbors think," the classic. Anyway, as far as your experience project, I think it sounds absolutely awesome. It's something that's definitely needed. I've never really heard of anything like that, actually, to be fair. But it's definitely unique.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things like that out there. Actually, none. They're just, as I already said, a little bit of trauma treatment like here and there, but you need this full spectrum in one, and you actually need it for a longer time phrase, not just for 4 to 6 or 12 weeks, because that's not how the brain functions. The brain needs to wiederholen, to
regenerate.
Yes, to regenerate and to repeat things in order to get that new road. And yes.
That's awesome. Okay, last question for today. I don't want to keep you anymore. Actually, I could talk to you all day, to be fair. Actually, maybe I'll keep you for another 2 hours now. So what's next? Okay, so you made the top 160. Your business is out there. So what's the next step for you?
So the next step is in September. There is the life experience where I get to know some of the other women with their projects, and I get to know the team, and we will make content and videographing, photo shooting, and after that I will know. I don't know when it is yet, but there will come a community voting where you can actually vote me into the finals. So 1 or 2, I don't know how many but I think 1 or 2 of the women can go into the final by community voting, and the rest goes normal through the jury. And yes, but I will let you know again when I know the exact date. I will go to Hamburg and get to know the team and the other girls. And I'm so looking forward to it because there's so many interesting individuals with a lot of interesting projects. You can see it on the website from Miss Germany, or also on my Instagram. And it's just amazing how many great people applied there this year.
That's awesome. Do you have any tickets for me?
I hope so. When we have the finals in Europa Park, I hope maybe you can get a ticket and hopefully see me there.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, and that'd be awesome. Okay, so where can we find you? Can you give us your handles, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook? Where can we find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. It's my name, Diana / and then Komugisha. On Facebook, you can find me also with the same name. And yeah, that's so much it. My nonprofit organization, the name is Experience Together Against Trauma. But if you put in Experience Mainz is the city where I live, you can find us very, very, very quickly.
Cool, that's awesome. Okay, then we made it for our first interview. I want to get you back soon because we need to speak to Afroloca Judith on a podcast together as well.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the plan. Okay, thanks for joining me, Diana.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right, and then we'll catch up soon, okay? I need to come visit.
That would be nice. Okay, goodbye.
Right. Bye-bye.